push into me and lift up your hips.
Well, we're here with Kiana. We've also got Nate.
Go.
He is actually going to be with Emily in a little bit doing some stretches. They're going to tell us about their business and demonstrate some stretches because they are with Stretchlab. And welcome to the show. This is a very cool concept for a business.
Yes, we're very excited to be here. We thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So if you could kind of explain why is it so vitally important that we be stretching and be doing good quality stretches?
Yeah, absolutely. So with stretching comes flexibility, right? With flexibility, we have a better range of motion. When we have better range of motion, we're able to act on those muscles when we call on them for walking, playing sports, stuff like that. If we don't have that flexibility, our muscles tend to shorten and they get stiff, and that's where we get, injury could happen, stuff like that. So it's super important to stretch all the time, especially at the right time as well.
And it strikes me as one of those things that's almost like a snowball effect, like you're not stretching properly and it just, things get tighter and things get shorter,
Yes.
and then just over time you get to a point where you're just feeling so unwell.
Yep.
Is that what happens?
Yes, yep. And at Stretchlab here, we actually use a technique. It's called PNF, and it's actually a proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation.
Wow.
Big long words, so that's why we say PNF. But what that does is it contracts the muscles and then it relaxes the muscles. So it's going to deepen the stretch, lengthen the muscle, and get that flexibility that we're looking for.
Gosh, fantastic. And of course, nothing would be better than for us to actually just show you what that means. So what I'd love to do is go over to Nate. Nate is working with Emily right now. They're doing some stretches. And Nate, if you could kind of explain what you're doing and why that is helping Emily.
Yeah, so one of the first things we start off with is some hip stretches. So everybody carries most of their tightness in their hips and then up into the upper body also. So what we're doing here is we're trying to target her hip flexors, which go along the front of your hip down to your leg. And so that's what causes people when they're sedentary and sitting at a desk for a while, they have that kind of hunched up posture, especially like bikers or people who are driving all the time. So we want to open up your hips here. And so what I do is I'm pressing down for about 5 seconds, and then we have her compress up against me and resist. And then we take her into a deeper stretch, kind of past that regular reflex that you reach when you kind of stretch on your own.
Gosh, and one of the things, being a mom myself, and probably a lot of our friends at home are moms as well, or grandmas, whatever it happens to be.
So we're gonna just
the
slide
hips.
back.
Man, the hips have a lot of stresses when you're having children, and then just being a parent and you're carrying a child on one hip or on the other hip or whatever it might be. So I would imagine this is incredible for kind of reducing that pain or reducing that tension.
It is, yes. We, I would say like 90% of the members that I stretch, tight hip flexors, 100%, yes. And it's, it's hip flexors are something you use every day, walking, sitting up, sitting down, and it's just it's an odd place to stretch the hip flexors, so most people don't think about just doing it on their own. So that kind of helps with the assisted stretch, and we're also, pushing you more a little bit than you would yourself. So it's kind of nice to have that assisted one-on-one stretch.
Well, I know something that I've experienced, and if you've experienced this at home, please send us a Facebook message. But after having had children, I've seemed to accumulate pain in my back and my hips and things like that. And a lot of times we're so focused on the family or we're so focused on work that we forget, if you go to the right professionals, they can help you work through this pain, and then obviously in the future not have this kind of pain. It's not okay to just say, it's fine, it's just a part of growing older, whenever it may be. It's your body trying to send you signals that it needs some help, right?
Yes, yep, and that's kind of nice with Stretchlab. We do the one-on-one assisted, so it's very customized to the individual. Not every stretch is going to be the same for everyone. Like you said, you're a mom, you have the hip flexors, the low back, so we're going to customize a stretch routine that fits for that area, and so it's very customized to each individual.
And a lot of people in the Fargo-Moorhead area like to stay healthy. They're active, maybe they're out, playing basketball or swimming or whatever it might be. So of course they have other needs that you guys can cover as well, right?
Yes, yep, we have all ages for members. We have kiddos from 9 all the way up to people that are in their 80s. So we have a wide range of members that come into Stretchlab.
And of course, part of this is we want to make sure that you're getting the right routine. What is the MAPS test?
Yes, so our MAPS, it's a great test that we have that we do at Stretchlab. So basically, it's going to analyze your body as you do 3 overhand squats. It looks at your mobility, your muscle activation, your posture, and your symmetry.
Gosh, incredible. And of course, you can see, Nate's been working with Emily here for a little while. Emily, if you could just give us a thumbs up, how are you feeling? Good? Perfect. So obviously this is something that we really should be investing more in ourselves for, more making time for, kind of reduce maybe some inflammation, reduce some pain, get yourself feeling better, and then it's just going to make your whole life better, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
Fantastic. And where can we find Stretch Lab?
Yes, we are located on 45th Street in a strip mall. I think it's the Ashley Home Furniture Strip Mall. We are located there. We do have intro stretches to try, so you know we don't have to commit so right away. You can do a 50-minute stretch or a 25-minute stretch, and come in and try it out, and come check out Stretch Lab. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. If you're having any issues, or if you just want to be a little more flexible and have more mobility in your everyday life, make sure you get over to Stretch Lab. Very easy to find on 45th Street. Maybe you go do a session, you feel really good, stop by Cone's Creamery or go get some juice afterwards, because they're right next door. So thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. But make sure that you stay with us. Coming up on today's show, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Premier Properties is here with tips to avoid costly home buying mistakes. You're going to want to pencil that one in.